question for you. And what does macro photography mean?
That's like the ultimate up close. So when
like this. Okay.
Yes, the ultimate up
So
close.
so for you, photographing something, you were just trying to capture as much detail as you possibly could.
Because I was bringing that back into the
Okay.
studio as a way to inspire me
Okay.
the work that I was creating.
Okay.
And so when you're looking at a lichen and it's just these teeny tiny little,
Oh,
basically
okay.
dots on a tree, and bringing that into full perspective, of what the composition is. It gives people an opportunity to, and it's stuff that I did do on the refuge too, realize what's actually there, because so many times I feel like we're busy in our lives and we've got to get from point A to point B as quickly as we can because something else is going on, and you miss so much that happens between point A and point B. So it's kind of slowing down a little bit and really looking at what's around you. And so when you look at things through the lens of a camera, all of a sudden an entire world just opens up to what's there.
And you probably see things that you didn't really see when you were taking the picture.
I have a lot of, especially the old adults who are like, I feel like a kid again.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh,
Okay.
this is so exciting.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the kids, I'm working.
I feel like an adult.
Well, no, actually, they will say things like, especially when I did the lichen class, I've never even seen a lichen before. I had no idea. And so it's a nice educational opportunity too, that when people are inspired, they want to learn more and they want to investigate more. And
So it sounds like you're really kind of wrapped up, as you say, between the natural world and how that translates into art. I think that's really great.
Definitely, that's a part of my work.
Do you use a digital camera?
I do.
Okay.
And it's funny because a lot of times people will say, oh, well, what kind of lens did you use on that? And I pull my point and shoot camera. It's a $250 camera from Costco, and it shoots underwater. It shoots.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so when I pull that out, they say, you took that picture with that camera? And then I just start to have the conversation with them that I have a really nice camera also, but generally when I'm outside, and especially here in Oregon, it's raining all the time.
You don't want to take something super expensive
No, I can go
out
over
in the woods.
Over to some waterfall that's, flowing off of a creek and stick my camera inside of it and have the most amazing photograph. It's looking
I think
at
that's
things.
wonderful.
Yeah, so it's really nice to do that. And that's something that I like to share with others, and that's what I like to share. We didn't even talk about the outreach component here.
And we're going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, so
now it's time.
Nice way to blend that is the outreach programs is really about getting people aware. And it's right now the outreach programs are predominantly with school groups, but we're not limited to school groups. So basically it's Culture 360 is the outreach, and it's basically coming to find your cultural center, not just the building and location here, but really more of this sort of metaphysical, your cultural center as a person. And so the outreach programs are all custom designed. So sometimes a teacher will call me and say, hey, we're studying Asia in 2 months. What do you got? What can you come up with? And so with the art history, Montessori background, and art education, I literally work in tandem with the teachers to develop something that coincides with and supplements their curriculum at the same time as exposing kids to art. But it's not only for kids, senior populations. I've worked in hospice. I've worked in at-risk facilities. We're doing some great work with Chehalem Youth and Family Services and also Yamhill Youth and Family Services right now.
Good, yeah.
So really, art is an opportunity for everybody. So, stuff like the photography, when I give someone a camera and they don't have a camera, they've never had the opportunity to have a camera, and I give them one and say, here's how you shoot, show me what you see. And all of a sudden this dialogue is happening between myself and that participant, and their eyes are being opened and my eyes are being opened, and then you end up with this finished work of art when it's done. So it's a really, it's nice,
So your outreach programs, then people, groups can come to this space, and you will also take your work to their space. So when you're doing something with the schools, you're doing it at the school. The kids aren't coming to here
They're
necessarily.
Both.
Okay.
For example, right now we're doing a project out at Crater Elementary with the entire 4th grade class.
Oh, how fun.
So I go and visit these kids every week. I think we're out there I say we're, I.
Me?
I'm out there for 6 weeks,
Yeah.
and this is teaming with their curriculum about Oregon and the Explorers and also the Oregon Trail. So the teachers are handling the academic content that needs to be covered, and then I'm supplementing it with artistic activities for them. So each child has created their own journal, which is art and bookmaking. And then last week they made the bindings. We're doing creative writing activities with it, different perspectives. Tomorrow we'll be doing a naturalist view. So the kids are actually going to go out and sketch from nature, as if you were on the Oregon Trail, what would you see? And then they'll be coming out here for rotational activities here in Newburgh, and it's about exploring, just as the explorers did coming across the Hacker Trail into Oregon. They're going to be exploring Newburgh. So I'm working with the downtown merchants with the Newburgh Downtown Coalition, the library, the cultural center, and George Fox University. So it's a very collaborative community project, and the kids are finished, with an art project, and then they'll have an exhibition here the first week in June. So they are, working with their curriculum. We're doing the arts with them. They're doing a whole community investigation, and then they get to be the artist on display. So it's a very full perspective, and that's really kind of what I would consider to be a prime program. It's developing relationships with the schools and also those kids. The kids come in, they want to take classes now. Their parents become exposed, and all of a sudden the entire community just kind of comes together through the arts.
And what's really nice about what you're doing with the outreach in the schools is, there are a lot of kids whose families, they don't have an awareness of what this is, of art and culture and that sort of thing. And they might not ever have the opportunity to be exposed to it if they weren't getting it at school. But perhaps then, as you say, once they have an experience of what that's like, they can kind of get enthused and drag their parents down or
And that's happened quite a few times already. It's been, I was out at Maple Rush, and we built, for Earth Day, we did an earthwork sculpture. So there's a ladybug sculpture, which teams with their science and insect studies. And we built this large-scale sculpture using twigs, which is fashioned after Andy Goldsworthy's work, Patrick Doherty, and my own work. And the kids, I can't believe we even made this thing. They're all excited, 100 kids all working on it. And 3 of the kids came down to the center. One of them, she said, I don't know what you did to my kid. He called me at work, said, get off work early. We have to go to the cultural center. She came down here, I had to see what was going on.
Oh, great.
And it was really exciting, and one of the projects that we've got going right now in the community is called the Art of Banking. And it's
Banking?
Of banking.
Okay.
And everybody goes, what? The Art of Banking program is actually another collaboration between the Cultural Center and Rivermark Credit Union.
I think it sounds fabulous already.
Well, it's the kids. Rivermark has provided blank banks for the kids. The kids are actually designing them with artwork of their own. They go into the community, so they're out throughout the community right now. And it's helping to encourage people to donate to our scholarship fund. So Rivermark has the account set up at their bank for us to donate, and then they're giving some matching funds. And so if there's a participant, and it's not just about kids either, but if there's a participant who really needs some financial assistance to take an art class here, we're developing that right now.
I was going to ask you about that if you had a scholarship program.
We're working on it.
Oh, that's
we
amazing.
need help, of course, so
and
donations
I would
always
say,
welcome.
Of course, so people are more than welcome to contribute toward that.
And Rivermark has the account already set up
that's
for
fabulous.
us. So it's a really nice way to do it. So it's a great program of exposing them to the arts and exposing them. They do an entire financial literacy. So the 2 of us that came together to develop this program for the scholarship fund.
That's amazing. So when you're talking about, I can imagine what you would do at senior centers. What do you do with hospice patients?
Hospice. I haven't done any hospice here in Newburgh, but before I've done different oral history workshops.
Okay.
And then I also did photography. So not all patients are ambulatory. A lot of them are bedridden.
Of course.
And so that becomes their world, and their room becomes their family's world. And so getting them to express, maybe communication is difficult for them in the time of need that they're at, but giving a hospice patient a camera and allowing them to take pictures of what they see and what they experience. And so it's a lot about abstract photography, or sometimes the macro details of what's going on. I had a gentleman one time who went and took the facility. He was actually able to move around, and he went room to room and took what he saw. So, you know, I mean, even you and I sitting here right now, we both are in the same space, we're in the same room, but we each have a completely different perspective, even if we're looking at the same object. And so it's a way to allow that communication to open up by looking at pictures. And so I've done things like that, and then just art books of the healing process of when you're going through hospice. So those are a couple of different activities I've already done, and attempting to, you know, develop here. I haven't done it in Newburgh yet.
So do you work approximately 120 hours a week, it sounds like?
I'm still trying to develop how that works. Well, that's part of the reason of, you know, requesting new teachers is I'd love to have some more diversity of what we can offer here, and then of course the outreach is exciting. So those are all designed one at a time. And I've got some programs so you can come and, you know, say, I heard they did this and we want to do that program too. So those are options, but no, I only work full time and that's it. I cram a lot into that full time.
A lot into that full time. Well, you know, full time, I guess like anybody's job, there's, you know, some people say 32 hours is full time, and I worked for somebody that thought 50 hours was, you know, sort of a minimum work week. So, you know, that can happen like that too.
It makes it hard to do the administration of the programs, and of course my passion is in the classroom and in the studios. So I'd love to just kind of get rid of the administrative side of my job, but it's impossible to. So I pack the days full, definitely.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Now, how late? I mean, you obviously must offer after school and evening programs because kids go to school during the day and adults often work. So
most of the kid programs, I mean, for like after school age, they start at 4:30 and they go to 6, and then most adult programs start between 6 and 6:30. Starting in June, we'll be open till 9 o'clock at night. So most of those studio classes, it's a 3-hour class, you know, 6 to 9 o'clock.
So when you do a studio class, is it like a 6-week class or a 10-week class?
You know, that's interesting that you say that. All of them vary.
Okay.
But when we initially opened, I started, you know, most programming of 10 weeks, which is pretty average for places. And a lot of people said, that's too much for me to commit to. So we've moved a lot of them back to like the 5 and 6 week sessions.
Okay.
And it's more manageable for a lot of people. We also have open studio in the ceramic studio and drop-in studio for painting and encaustic. So if you can't take a full class, there are some options in some of the classes where you can do a drop-in.
So a person, for example, who's an experienced potter or ceramic artist can come in and use your facility. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they pay by the hour, and then
Okay.
they buy their materials through us, and it makes it easy that if it's someone who's experienced. And then the painting situation, same thing. The instructor's actually on site for the painting and encaustic, and during their classes, they reserve a couple of spots for the drop-in people to come in and work. So if it's somebody who has already been painting, for example, but they need a little assistance, or they just need a little input here and there, they come to one time and then they go back to their studios and create, and they come in every so often. But that way it's not too much of a commitment for them. So we try to make it.
You know, it's
Open
amazing, and I have learned a lot from you in this short period of time. Thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate that.
Well, I encourage everybody to come in and
Yeah,
learn for
absolutely.
themselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.